Welcome to the YCHYFUS Kung Fu podcast on YouTube, not audio, because that's how we roll here, isn't it? Special edition today. In fact, probably the next couple are going to be special editions, because we have been inundated with invites and requests, and the first of these is going to be a request show. Given to us by the wonderful Mr. Chris Evans.
Yes.
And not the Hollywood star and not the annoying twat with the glasses.
Well, I reckon it might be the same
Yeah.
man, but he's just a chameleon.
It could be.
So he
yes,
is also Captain America and the bloke from the Big Breakfast.
Yeah.
And your mate from the Kung Fu Cafe.
Quite possibly.
I mean, I don't want to blow his cover.
No. And he certainly does have some superheroic tendencies. Yeah. I can't think of anything positive to say about Chris Evans, you know, the DJ and TV. Yes. Yeah, I can't really make any comparisons at the moment.
Poor Chris, being called Chris Evans, you must get this shit all the time.
Well, yes. Yeah, I'm sure this was tiresome the first time you fucking said it.
Yes.
And I think we're on.
That's not going to put us off doing it every time.
No, and Chris has given us. Is this the second one or the third one? Because Chris,
it's at least the third. It could be the fourth, but it's the third certainly.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's right, actually, isn't it? Yeah. So, So Chris has brought us some delights in the past. Most notably from memory, writing Kung Fu.
Yes, he prompted us to get on that, didn't he?
Yeah. So yeah. Chris's selections are usually bang on. So thank you very much, Chris, for your selections today, and we will do our best to do you justice. Although possibly not the films, we'll see. So the films in question are Concrete Jungle from 1974 and Gambling for Head, 1975.
Yes. So, insert your own jokes here, because we're a classy outfit, so we would never think of doing anything like that.
No, I hadn't planned to make 5 or 6 false advertising jokes based on that title alone.
I wasn't going to mention anything like, you know, getting fellatio from Richard Keel. Nothing like that.
No,
because we are good. Classy.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes. So
below us,
or any off-color epilepsy jokes or anything like that.
Nothing like that.
No. We don't do that here. We don't do that here at all. So yeah, an interesting selection, I think, and very much in the basher category, isn't it? Yeah,
I think that was the thing more than anything else. We'll get to each film's individual, attributes. But yes, it was nice to sit down with a couple of bashers and to remind me, I do need to get more deep into my bashers, because I do like it's one of those funny things we talked about it before. It is one of those funny things where the further you get into Fu fandom, something that once upon a time would have been a bit of a turn off, to be honest with you. If there was something in the early days you turned up, it's one of these blocking, there's no shapes or anything.
Yeah.
Further, you really do develop a weird kind of real love of the, like, almost a fetishization, I would say, actually, of the basher, isn't there? There's something about good old basher.
Yeah, it's something, because although, I think that, the perfection of bone-crunching violence is probably Sammo, who kind of straddles the whole fucking, straddles the two ends of it, right?
Right.
But generally speaking, the bashers look like they hurt more, don't they? The bashers are just fucking rough, and usually really low budget as well.
Yeah. No, it's definitely, and it is definitely one of those acquired tastes as well that you can. It's not to be elitist about it or anything like that, but it's one of those things, like even just using the phrase basher, because if you just throw that, I think if you just said that, if someone who didn't know their things read that in a review or something, they'd think it was just shorthand for a fight flick, like Chopsocki or something.
Yeah.
They wouldn't
Yeah.
necessarily understand that it was specifying a certain sort of thing, right?
No, it's a category and an era as well.
Yes. And
Because you
even
don't
though,
really.
yeah, you can define it, I suppose, but also it's a bit of a you know it when you see it kind of thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the best bashers always have good flares in them as well. Got to have good flares and big lapels.
Yeah, this is true. I'm wondering, actually, that I hadn't thought about this before, but another thing about the basher is my image of the basher is that they are mostly as well, not necessarily all like urban and modern day, but they're certainly at least early 20th century, right? You don't get
Yeah.
you don't seem to get many bashers set in ancient times, right?
No, well, because that lends itself to being a stylized thing. If it's old enough, it becomes stylized, doesn't it? So you can import, fantasy elements, made up kung fu, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. But it's just I'm just thinking, I suppose the a kind of borderline, I suppose the classic borderline example is Five Fingers of Death or King Boxer, right? Which
Yeah.
is as close to feeling like a period martial arts film. But yeah, it's very much in that kind of middle ground, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but it's also not really a basher because he
No,
holds his palms up and
right.
Ironside plays.
But it does have a bit. It does have a kind of basher feel to it.
It's got a good roughness to it.
And I suppose maybe again, they're so nuts and there's so many different things going on. I suppose One Arm Boxer, the first one, is in that era.
Yeah.
And it doesn't exactly have shapes, but you wouldn't call it a basher either, right? It's
Not a basher.
between it's somewhere,
Yeah.
they're their own films, the One Arm
Yeah.
Boxer.
But I think they're a separate cinematic universe, aren't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, but I think one of the kind of hallmarks of bashers is that generally speaking, they're grounded as well, aren't they?
Yes.
There's no need to do flips and run up walls and swing off lampshades or whatever. Bashers are all about mano a mano or someone taking down a fucking army of goons.
And
that's a basher.
fueled by pure vengeance. I mean, I know a lot of kung fu
Yeah.
are didn't you kill my brother plot, but I think especially and one of the films here is a good example, is just something entirely fueled by something really heinous until it builds up and it's just an unstoppable fury, right? Like,
yeah. And arguably talking about classics from the early 70s, hallmark classics. I mean, Chinese Boxer arguably fits better into a basher category than although it's still a very stylized film.
Yeah, I don't think of it, but like we said, Wang Yu it's his own little island, isn't he?
He is, but he's done some good bashers as well.
Things like that's true.
Tattoo Connection, in my mind, well, it should be on our list first of all. But Tattoo Connection is one of the best bashers ever made, in my opinion.
Don't think I've ever actually seen it, and my interest was piqued as well because I think it might have been Quentin Tarantino on some podcast talking about as well how it was clearly an imitation of Japanese Yakuza films of the period as well.
Okay.
I haven't kind of interested in it.
I hadn't made that link at the time, and I haven't seen it for years and years and years. But the impression that film made on me when I was dyed in the wool, right in the middle of my food frenzy.
Mm.
That still managed, watching that back to back with, I don't know, bloody Eastern Condors or, uh, you know, Triple Avengers or any of the big ones. It was in that period I watched Tattoo Connection, and it still fucking blew me away.
Well, there we go. I wrote that down, so I think we're probably due to do that on a double or something. And it also reminded me as well that we should probably at one point do our. I don't think we've done. Again, it's kind of YCHYFUS adjacent, but I think we do want to go into this territory. Is we do want to do maybe some early 70s like Japanese karate films as well.
Absolutely, yeah, well up for that. And there's a lot of them coming out on Blu-ray at the moment as well.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so that will tie you. Well, availability should be good on them.
Yeah. I can. Yeah, even some of the more obscure ones, I should be able to dig some of them up.
Yeah. So yeah, that's on the list.
Did you notice the announcement that Call Me Dragon is coming out in a 4K?
No.
It was what's his face, Saito on Facebook. Yeah, it's been they've restored it, and apparently Kurata is going to be showing it around. There's going to be some screenings here apparently, so I'm looking forward to see that. And then it's going to be like a Blu-ray or something.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. Yeah. No. Yeah. Roving reporter, if you can, on that one, Clive.
Yes. Well, yeah. Well, also reminds me specifically, we should probably do some Kurata as well, right? He's definitely worthy of.
Yeah, I mean Kurata, Chensing, that's the height. That's they're like,
Yeah, when you
like
see those names or something, you're like, oh, you piques your interest, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah. And
as does, and here's our segue.
Yeah.
Loli.
Well, and Chanwai Man.
Yeah. Oh yes, of course. Yeah.
So yeah, this is directed, and actually, apologies, Chris. There was a little bit of talk about doing a triple bill, but we never really solidified that. So this is just the double, but we can come back to.
What was going to be the third one?
I can't remember. It was another Jimmy Shaw film, and I don't have the info to hand at the moment.
Because I do remember Chris kind of suggesting something else, but it was something we'd already done. And then
possibly, yeah.
And then one of these was a replacement for it, right? I can't remember which.
Yeah. Well, either way.
Yeah.
Hopefully, our selection or your request is still going to be honoured and justified and received properly. Anyway.
So this is Concrete Jungle, right?
Concrete Jungle, 1974. And it does not seem to be available in any particularly watchable format.
No, yeah, so we should probably preface this. I mean, certainly, I don't know how you felt, but my viewing was definitely compromised. So it's up on YouTube. Thank God, once again, Wu-Tang Collection. And we're not blaming them. They're putting up the only thing that's available, I think. And this is just, shit quality, pan scan. You can't see what's going on in the night scenes. Not the greatest subs. And most importantly, the sound is almost non-existent, isn't it? It's like so low down. And I cranked everything up, but you could, which is a shame because the opening theme tune sounded like might kick ass, and it might be stolen from somewhere else. I don't know, but But
and there's
compromised viewing. This
and also. I'm fairly sure. Sorry, I just dropped something. Also, I'm pretty sure that 116 minutes, 76 minutes, isn't its original runtime.
Yeah, it's got to have at least been trimmed a little bit, right? Yeah. And as well, I would go so far as to say it's not just an annoying viewing experience. I don't think I fully understood the plot either.
No, I didn't. No,
I kind of got the overall shape of it, I think.
Yeah, just about. But there's some treachery at the end that doesn't really make a lot of sense, and
and people's relationships to each other are not entirely. For a start, the one that confuses me actually, what the fuck is Lowley's job in this film?
Well, yeah, because at one point he's wandering around a construction site in a helmet.
Yeah, he's like a
And then,
foreman, isn't he? And he gets told
yeah,
off as well.
yeah, and then he's selling cars.
Yeah, and then so I've read some. There's not much in the world in the way of online reviews either, right? But there's a
No,
comment or someone that refers to him as an undercover cop, which might
no.
make sense. If he's undercover, he's a foreman one day, he's selling cars the next. But then
Yeah,
the
yeah.
police, I don't get the sense that he was a policeman. But then again, what's the
No,
badge then? Because he has a badge,
exactly.
isn't he? Yeah.
I rewound that about 3 times to try and work out what the fuck Lowley's job was.
Yeah.
And that's in the first 5 minutes of the film.
Yeah,
And I still didn't. Because they don't call it a badge, they call it a medal.
Yeah, and it's a very small, it doesn't look like a policeman's, like a wallet badge.
No.
And,
so I think I'm working on the assumption that Lowley is just a good guy who's really good at fighting, who has left his medallion that identifies him at a crime scene. That's the working assumption.
Do like people on construction sites, do they have some kind of like it's almost like a license or something like because the only thing I could think that made sense was he is a foreman, but then when he gets told off when that big fight happens on his building site, he loses his job and then gets a job in a car showroom.
Yeah, but surely, without wishing to belittle anyone who does very important jobs in the construction industry, which I work in myself.
Yes, I was about to
say. Exactly. But surely you would rather be away from the dust and the noise and the smells and the horror, the general scuzziness of a building site and be in a nice office selling cars. Surely you'd have just gone there first.
You'd think so, but then again, a car showroom is, I would imagine, is recently having just purchased a new car and having to hang out in a car showroom a bit. And I was only there for like a few. Car showrooms are quite soul-sucking. Again, apologies to anyone who sells cars. They're quite sterile, boring place. I can't imagine working in a car showroom.
You're right. You're right. However,
and you'd have the crack on a building site, wouldn't you? You'd have the
true.
And you'd enjoy that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You might get to drive a JCB.
Oh.
So, but yeah, but this was the 70s, don't remember. So I think car showrooms were a little bit less sterile because everyone's smoking, and you get to go for a test drive in those buggy cars, like the banana splits drive.
This is true. And then when you get back to the office, like you said, you can smoke up a chimney. You can grab any female who passes ass as much as you like. True. You're allowed to get away with it in those days.
Yeah, but not Lowley, because he's unusually, Lowley is a good boy in this one.
Yes, he is. He is. It's kind of nice to see him actually in that role, isn't it?
But this was a weird year for Lowley. It's like, because he's kind of in and out of Shaw Brothers. So he's done Superman Against the Orient the same year. He's I think Virgins of the Seven Seas is the same year as well. He does Black Magic the following year.
Yeah.
So it's like this is the period where Lowley doesn't know what the fuck to do and just does everything. But I agree with you. It's nice seeing him in a heroic role, especially in a basher.
Paul years.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah. I know. I think he's moving towards Toad in this one.
Baby Toad.
Yeah, he's like one of those tadpoles that's got the legs, but isn't a frog yet.
They're odd looking,
yeah. Bulbous.
Yeah.
Bulbous. Yeah. Lowley is the bulbous.
Bulbous years, we'll call them.
These are the bulbous years. Yes. So anyway, so what happens? We're kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but what we think happens in the film anyway.
Well, you go ahead. You have a run at it. And then I'll see if there's anything I differ from it. Yeah.
there's not a lot. There's not a lot
No.
about it. There's not a lot of plot. So
as far as we know.
Yeah, Lowly interrupts some hoodlums, possibly gangsters, unclear, in a rape, on a nice innocent lady.
Well, it seems to be is it a kidnapping? Is it a kidnapping, and then while they're kidnapping, they decide, well, let's have some rape in the woods?
Yeah, because there's a lot of bundling into cars and then coming out of cars and then getting raped in the forest.
And led by Michael Chan Wyman, of course.
Yeah.
Whose hair
very young.
is acceptable in this film. He doesn't have a ridiculous haircut in this one.
Well, yeah, but you know, I was thinking exactly this. I was thinking exactly this while I was watching this. And when I was in primary school, no, not primary, secondary school, we used to have a boy in our school, and the man who desperately needs a haircut and who's got uncontrollable locks for the last few podcasts, pot calling kettle black.
That'll be me.
Well, yeah, but he never had a decent haircut, and it wasn't like you know, they haven't got money thing. It wasn't that. It wasn't any of that stuff. I think he just had a funny shaped head, right? And whatever haircut he had, however long or short his hair was, he always had like some sort of triangular feature at the top, but like unintentional, like it was the shape of his head.
Irish hair, Dylan Moran refers to it, I believe.
No, not even that. It was like but he used to, so he had a nickname throughout the whole of secondary school, and his nickname was Bulb.
Ah, okay.
Bulb. So
and much like Lowly's bulbous.
Well, that's what made me
Did
think
you
of it as well.
go to school with Lowly then?
No, I did not. No, no. And if I did, I probably would have been bullied by Lowly. Because I imagine he was with the cool kids. But yeah, anyway, no, but I think Chan Wyman's probably got a funny shaped head, which means
but he
can't really have a proper haircut.
He doesn't look like an additional member of the Ramones in this film.
No, true, no, but I think, yeah, but he's still, is something not right there with his barnet still.
There we go. You know, question to Michael Chan Wyman: what's wrong with your head?
Yeah. What's wrong with your head? Have you been to any medical professionals to get diagnosed? Because if you haven't, you should.
Any fists and kicks resulting should be addressed to Chris Evans, courtesy of Marvel Cinematic Universe stroke.
That's it.
YCHYFUS.
Yeah. Chris Evans lives in Newcastle, UK. I actually know where he works, but I'm not going to tell you because
Michael Chan Wyman might turn up. Actually, that would actually be quite nice if Michael Chan Wyman turned up, even if it was to beat the shit out of you. That would be quite, you know, that would be quite an event in your life.
I wouldn't mind getting the shit kicked out of me by Chan Wyman. That'd be good.
If you're listening, Michael Chan Wyman, I would mind. Please don't beat me up. Go around Darren's house and then go to Newcastle. Yeah,
he's closer to you than me.
Yeah, but I'm not inviting. I'm not.
Yeah, but you're gonna get it anyway.
He doesn't know where I live.
He doesn't know where I live either. I haven't told anyone where I live.
I'm gonna send him a mail.
Anyway, so yeah, but he's quite young looking. Chan, because I think this is probably one of his very, very early proper roles, because he's kicking about the Shaw Brothers in the early 70s. And I had a quick look at his filmography. He's not done a lot that's kind of, you know, main, you know, that's front and center. He's kind of background thug or guard, or, you know, third boss down the food chain.
Right. At
this point, I think. And yeah, you know, Chan Wyman, he's fucking cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Lowly interrupts and rescues this girl, but leaves a medallion or a badge.
Yeah.
Because he may or may not be a policeman.
This is Gracie Tong, right? Who sister of Stanley Tong.
Who'd have thought that?
Elder sister, I'm guessing, because Stanley Tong wasn't doing anything yet. He was a teenager or something at this point. But yeah. And she's not in. The only other thing she seems to be in also with directed by Lowley as well, is Devil and Angel.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And that's it.
That's on my list, that is.
Yeah.
There's another reason that I've forgotten that I want to watch that. But
yeah, no, I don't think I've seen it. And then I decided it's about time to watch that as well.
Yeah. So yes, interrupts her, and then you think, well, at least I did. Then you think, oh well, this is the start of some sort of romance. It's not, because he gets another girlfriend who I initially thought was a prostitute.
Does she also turn out to be the other girl? Does she turn out to be the gangsters? So the big boss who Michael Chan Man is working for, I think he's sent her out to like seduce.
Yes. Yeah.
But she kind of falls for him because she's got a frog fetish or something.
That's it. Yeah.
But she is she is the gang big what's his name? Wong Sam. She's his mole, isn't she? I think.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
But then
and they seem to have some sort of
the Gracie Tong character, for whatever reason, which I wasn't quite sure, she doesn't want it to be, because Lowley, after he beats up the guys who try and rape her, or they have raped her, I'm not quite sure if they've done it already, she doesn't want him to go to the police, right? For some reason.
Right, yeah.
So he keeps stum, but then the police so this is the bit that confused me a little bit. So the police turn up because they found his badge at the scene where they found a dead body, right? So the bit that confused me is this another dead body that's been dumped there later to implicate him? Or is it one of the people, one of Michael Chan Wai's associates he beat up? Did he kill someone?
I reckon he killed someone.
Because you don't get that sense during that scene. You just think he's beat them off and they run away, right?
Yeah. But it is
could
dark.
Be that he's killed someone.
It's quite a dark scene in places. Yeah. But the police, what's quite strange about this is the police are really friendly with Lowley. So they're saying, well, you've got to be careful because, we think you might have murdered this man. But we're not going to lock you up or arrest you or anything. Just, you need to go and sort that out.
Maybe because he's undercover.
I agree. Anything's possible in this film.
Or he sold him a car.
That's it.
Or he built their house.
Look, if someone give me a discount on one of those buggy cars, then they would have my eternal gratitude.
Or, turn the blind eye and you got an extra toilet for no extra cost or something.
Well, that's it. Yeah. Could tarmac his drive for him, couldn't he?
Plumbing is expensive.
It is. Absolutely. Yeah. So,
and what luxury would have been in 1974 to have 2 toilets in you'd have been you'd have been the Queen of Sheba. Anyway,
exactly. Oh, and that's the other reason I love watching Hong Kong films from the 70s. Is you always get a good telephone in the 70s, and he's got one of those ones. He's got one of those ones that hasn't got. It's not 2 parts. It's not a receiver and a base. It's one of those freestanding ones. It looks like an ornament, and he just picks it up, and it's not that big.
Yeah, those things look heavy. I don't think you could have talked for long on one of those.
No,
it's like a conch, isn't it? Almost.
It is. So anyway, there are what seem like hundreds of skirmishes between Lowley and Chan Wai-man's thugs.
Yeah, they hustle him quite a lot, don't they?
Yeah. And Chan Wai-man gets really creepy and stalkery on Gracie Tong.
Yeah.
And she's also getting PTSD flashbacks about the rape or rape attempt, whichever it was.
Yeah.
And incidentally, Gracie Tong is also Adam Cheng's fiance in this film.
Yeah, and he doesn't know what's going on. He's even more clueless than us, I think.
Yeah. And he's almost unrecognizable. He's so young, Adam Cheng, in this as well, isn't he?
Yeah. So at this point, I check out of the plot. I think that's about as far as I got, really.
Yeah, and then there's a double cross at the end. But luckily enough, I think there are so many faults in this film.
Yeah,
that's good quality the end of the bashers, top-notch fighting. Nothing special.
No, but you know, good value for money.
Good.
And that baldy Tong Tin Hei, who's in the next film we talk about as well, turns up.
Yeah. I like him.
Let's talk about, so like we said, the fighting is there, the action is there. Choreography, Lau Ka Wing.
Yeah.
Huang Pei Chi.
Yeah.
Who turns out to be Tang Chia's brother.
I found out for the first time as well. Yeah.
And made me interested in him because he's got a shitload of choreography credits.
Yeah. Well, it's like he's on Human Skin Lanterns, isn't he? Avenging Eagle.
Yeah.
So he's on the late stage Shaw stuff, which is usually fucking faultless in terms of
but
action.
Not a name on my radar, I have to confess.
No, not at all.
And then Chan Chuen, who among other things directed Kung Fu versus Yoga.
Yeah.
But so he's also choreography.
Yeah. But he's also in the mix with Shaw's, because he's on King Boxer, isn't he? He does choreography on King Boxer. But also he's kicking about with Samo on the tournament and possibly the Himalayan as well.
Yeah. No, it's definitely one of those names I'd pegged, but didn't necessarily have a strong. But I know the name, like, oh, Chan Chuen, yes, okay.
Yes, same. Yeah, no, I knew he was on good. I knew he was a seal of quality, but I couldn't have told you without looking it up. I couldn't have told you what he was on.
Would be remiss of us not to mention as well, YCHYFUS, isn't it?
YCHYFUS,
yes,
yeah. In not exactly a starring role. In fact, and Yin Shi Quan is in this as well. I couldn't see him there either. Because it's just, I think, you know, a lot of, I don't think you can get away from the quality of the print that we watched. Because I think it's, really did mar the performance.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
before we get into that, I just like to point out that for people who are having a go at us, who think we're pronouncing YCHYFUS wrong, we're not.
You're wrong.
He's from Pontardawe.
He is from Pontardawe.
And that's how you say his name.
Exactly. His mum's from Gwaun.
He's a local lad. Yeah.
He is. YCHYFUS. Yeah. Right. Pontardawe. So but yeah, no, and it's because part of the fun, especially in the early 70s, is extra spotting as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's almost impossible in this because everything's either a little bit wobbly because it's from a VHS that looks like it was recorded on long play.
Yeah.
Or too dark. Or it's too dark, or it's too quick. You know. So
plus as well, to your point, I mean, it might sound kind of silly, but actually it's valid. Like you said, another joy is the is the period trappings, and you just don't get to see, like, if you were seeing this with clarity, you could see more fashions and buildings and cars, and that is part of the enjoyment sometimes. But this would, even though I suspect, my guess is that the Concrete Jungle, as directed by Lo Chen, we forgot to mention, is no undiscovered classic or gem. However, if it was cleaned up, and how's about this? A Basher box set. Of course, I understand the elements. You can't just make these things out of nothing. If the elements elements aren't there. But if it does exist and it was presented in a cleaned up version, I think it would probably stand up as a perfectly serviceable little urban actioner. Nothing more, nothing less. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's solid. If I'm going to criticize it outside of the quality of the images we were watching, I would say it's pretty run of the mill. So there's not a lot that distinguishes it from the other bashers in the genre, you know, in the era or the genre.
Ironically, the thing that does distinguish it now is, it's that one you can hardly fucking hear. And that makes a difference. That makes a difference. The sound, especially when you're watching a fight flick, you want, and a basher, you want those sound effects to, just bring it home, right? And when you're that, it does make so. I mean, you could even argue in its favor that the fact that it didn't totally bore us in this very compromised condition is actually says something for the film.
Yeah, and to be fair to it, in terms of pacing, I mean, there's probably a fight every 5 minutes.
Yeah,
they're very brief fights, and the end fight is far too fucking dark to see, and I didn't really know what was going on at the end.
Yeah, if you were to judge it on like a traditional so-called proper film's merits, yes, of course, it's not. It's episodic and quite short. But if you're talking about a film that's designed to showcase action, there's plenty of it. It zips along.
Yeah, as a nice.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that building site fight properly, actually, because they've got all sorts of fucking poles and bats and things out of it. It looks quite quite.
And I think that's
going on.
That's the other problem with urban action, particularly of this period, is it's all in the fucking dark. A lot of it is kind of street lit, not lamp lit, street lamp lit, rather than studio lit or because it's urban.
But that fight's in the daytime though, isn't it? That building site fight.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. So, but again, it's the quality. But to be fair, I expected it to be cropped worse than it was as well. The actual ratio didn't seem too bad.
But you can tell it is. But anyway, so I guess the jury's still out a little bit on Concrete Jungle, but I would be very surprised if it turns out to be. I don't think it's going to turn out to be a missing classic, like I said. But I would definitely give it the time of day if it were to come out in a less compromised. I'd just like to hear it for a start.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I'm get some proper subs on it, so we knew the plot.
Yeah.
Although there is a kind of little, it lags a bit at the end, I think, when you get all the intrigue with the gangster and the gangster's mole, and that's kind of seems a little bit unnecessary, and no one cares about that,
Not really. When Wong Sam finally says Rosebud, and then they smash the sledge over someone's head.
That's it.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So I mean, in conclusion, I think it's a nice curio. But not one to rush out and see, I think.
No, agreed.
Yeah. So we've done the jokes already, so
they are below us.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry. No, we didn't do any jokes.
No.
But yes, we are going for Gambling for Head. 1975.
Directed by Finbar Saunders.
Yes. Jimmy Shaw Feng. And interestingly, choreography by Bruce Liang.
Yeah. Who's in it as an extra.
He's in it. Yeah, he's in it here and there. Yeah.
Same year he starred in Little Superman for
Yes.
Yeah.
Good film.
I remember it having good action, at least. Let's put is Wang Zhang-Li in that?
Don't think so. It's a bit early for Wang Zhang-Li.
Who am I thinking? There's some big, notable big bad in that, right? But I can't remember who it might be.
No, I don't know. I can't remember.
I'll look it up while you.
Yeah.
Says to Gambling for Head, then. Or as it's also known, Savage Barbarian. Apparently,
I like that. I like Savage Barbarian.
Yeah.
So this is James Nam. This is James Nam's show.
Sorry, just looking up Little Superman, I'd forgotten. James Nam is in that as well.
Oh, there you go.
And I'm guessing he's the villain because he's Japanese Colonel Okado, according to the Hong Kong movie database.
Sounds about right then.
And no Hang Zhang-Li. I don't know why I was thinking that.
No. So anyway, and this is again, we're in tail end of the bashers, and this is a basher.
Oh, yes.
This is a real basher.
Yeah, and like you said, it's tail end as well, so it's about as bashery as you can get, isn't it?
Yeah. Whilst also having half decent choreography, not great choreography, but half decent choreography. And James Nam is cutting a fucking bloody swathe of vengeance across the whole fucking region. In vengeance for his dead relatives. And he's doing a good job. This is one of the few, I think this is one of the few successful James Nam vehicles, because there's a few out there. But this one I think is, whatever you think of the film, whether you like or dislike the film, I think that most people would agree that James Nam in this character doing the vengeance kicks ass.
Agreed. I watching this one made me, because I've seen James Nam vehicles before, but and I've enjoyed them to varying. But this was the one that made me think, oh, hang on now, maybe I should dive a bit deeper into the James Nam and see if there's any other. Because I was looking, because he was about the Shaw as well, oddly, and everyone seems to have about the Shaw at some point, right?
Yeah.
But there's I assumed, because I'm familiar with the one he directed as well, Jaws of the Dragon, right?
Yeah.
The Fierce one, stuff like that. Again, very much Basher territory, and him being a Korean as well, right? So some of them are South Korean productions or at least co-productions. And I was assuming there was a lot more, but having a look, at least on the Hong Kong Movie Database, maybe not if you check because my guess would be maybe if you got further into the 80s, I don't know this for sure, but I'm wondering if there might be a load of purely South Korean James Nam vehicles that are more like modern day action gangster like. So there might be a lot, but judging from the Hong Kong Movie Database, there's a few, but there's not as many James Nam vehicles as you might expect.
Because I think that generally a lot of Kung Fu fans regard James Nam as a little bit of a failure as a leading man. I think a lot of people regard James Nam as someone who tried it, didn't really do that well at it, and then went on to villain or supporting roles.
Right.
Which is kind of what I think most people know him from.
I read somewhere, I can't remember, was he also maybe a pop singer?
I don't know. No, I hadn't read
have
that.
A music career in Korea as well, I think. I'm not sure, but I think I read that somewhere.
Yeah. The other interesting thing about this that I didn't know, and I had seen this before, but it was years and years ago. And it didn't make that big an impression on me, to be honest, because I couldn't really remember most of it. But if you have a look at the HKMDB and you scroll right to the bottom, it says partially a remake.
Oh yes,
of Harakiri.
Yes.
Yeah. And I've seen Harakiri as well, but again, it was years ago, and I could not fucking get that. I did not get where that was coming from. But I did research a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's all about the vengeance plot. So it's all about the gubbins around the gambling in particular.
Well, I have a theory about this actually, because I'm also a big fan of Harakiri Seppuku. Brilliant film if no one's ever seen it. Definitely track it. But see, my theory is this. So this film has a particularly good music, which I think might actually be the music from Seppuku.
Oh, okay.
Because it sounds like Toru Takemitsu did the score for that. And it sounds very much like a Toru Takemitsu score. I don't have time to go back and listen. But my guess is it comes from Seppuku, which is what makes people think. Because and it might be inspired by, because if you remember Seppuku, the basic plot is, someone has been wrongly done by cruel people in power who forced him to kill himself with like a shoddy sword and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
And, so and there's nothing to do with gambling in that film, but there's a wrongly done by family, and I think there
No,
might...
I was also referring to the flashbacks. Sorry, what I meant by the gambling is that you get the plot in pieces in the middle.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, that I didn't explain
No,
myself.
you're right.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, there's the plot structure, and there's the there's the whole. I think it might be inspired in terms of taking vengeance for cruelty that destroyed a family.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a stretch to call it a remake, isn't it?
Not a remake. It's not a remake. It's nothing. It's stylistically, it's completely different.
But someone had the soundtrack LP.
Yeah.
Maybe Jimmy Shaw-Feng. So they
exactly.
Whoever's pretending to be the composer of this film.
Yeah. But I've got to say, it's a fucking decent job, because from the opening moments, James Nam in his hat with a bit of stubble,
straw hat,
kind of Clint Eastwood style, just rocks into the gambling den and says, "I want to place a bet," and just says, "Well, what will you bet?" And he just sticks a human head on the gaming table.
Well, we don't know it's a head yet, do we? It's like a sack.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
And then basher credits, proper basher credits.
Yeah.
Proper 70s, badly animated photos.
But also a little bit of it, because of the sack, also a bit of a Alfredo Garcia vibe as well.
Yeah. So it starts off well. So it's kind of straight into the action, really, because it kicks off with a fight, and again, very regular intervals where he's taking someone down. And when he takes someone down,
the first half of the film, yes.
Yeah. Well, but the flashbacks continue more or less.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to this. Structurally, this is not a complaint, because I thought it worked quite. And I made a note at the end, actually, that yes, to begin with, it's got but then it slows down in the middle when you get the longest flashback. But it's quite well. It's well done. But it's kind of weirdly paced a bit, and then my note I wrote at the end was the kind of slow burn aspect that comes into it, that makes it worth sticking with, and then makes the all action climax more satisfying. Reminded me a little bit of the way Chanche's Vengeance plays.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, very good point. Yeah. With not so much on the flashbacks, but certainly that kind of methodical.
Yes, exactly. Takes its
merciless time. Methodical, merciless vengeance.
And similarly, it's the kind of film I can imagine, like, really, like, smoking a spliff to and really sinking into.
Yeah. So as far as plot structure goes, execution, top job. Yeah, excellent job. So he's wandering around the countryside and he's taking down various people who have caused the death of some of his relatives. And as he fights his various enemies, and he's fighting them from the start, and there's like 5 of them.
Well, I'll tell you what they are, shall I? Because it's interesting. So the first one is Travada Ramos.
Yeah.
He's the guy, like, he takes his arm, because each one he says, "I'm going to take this from you, I'm going to take that."
Yeah.
And then you got good old Yukio Somino from the Snake Queen films that we right?
Yeah. Without any leopard skin on this time, though.
Yeah, so the mixture of those two guys as well. I was trying to figure out if this might have been shot in either the Philippines or Taiwan.
Well, yeah, I wasn't going to go so far as Korea.
No, I don't think it's Korea.
No. But there seems to be quite a kind of Korean influence in there.
Well, you've got James Nam, and of course the big bad is Kim Ki-joo.
Yeah, Kim Ki-joo. Yeah.
But
also just that prevalence of stick fighting as well. That seemed to be a thing that you don't see a lot around, and I'm just wondering if that's a particular import from somewhere.
If I had to
Because they fight with these
gamble,
short sticks, don't they?
yeah, if I had to gamble my head, I would say I would come down on maybe Taiwan, maybe, and
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
the Philippines as a second
Yeah.
choice. But
Yeah.
yeah, so he defeats, and then the third one is Baldy from the previous Concrete Jungle, Tong Ting Kei, and he's the guy who gets his eyes poked out with those. I
Yeah.
believe the technical term is pointy sticks. I think.
Pointy sticks they
Yeah,
are.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so it's those three. Those are the three he takes, and then yeah. So later on, and then we find out. This is before we even know who they are, right?
Yeah. But you get these flashbacks, don't you? So as he's defeating each baddie,
Yeah.
then you get a really, really brief flashback.
Yes.
To what they did to
yes.
to his brother, essentially.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll get into spoilers here because it doesn't really. It's not like a big reveal or anything, right? So
No.
explain what happens because then eventually we do hit a very lengthy flashback, which is quite well. I quite like this because they could have done it really quickly. They could have just had the brother go in and get fucked over, but they really make a point out of showing the brother being conflicted and doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually quite a good performance.
Very good. Very good.
From this guy. So, and here we go, Darren. This is my suggestion. So the actor who plays the brother is someone called Yi Lung, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Who's not much in of anything else at all.
Yeah.
Apart from he starred in a film that I'd never heard of before, but I believe it's a kung fu film called Man on the Police Gazette. And he produced a horror film from 1977 called The Gate of the Hell, which I think is even his production company. So I suggest, Mr. Darrenbach, that we do, because they're both on YouTube, I checked.
All right.
We do Man on the Police Gazette.
Yeah.
And The Gate of the Hell, just for the fuck of it.
Yeah, right.
All right, there we go. And so I'll either be next time or the time after. Yeah.
You knew you wouldn't have to do any convincing with that.
Well, no, that's why I thought I would announce it well rather than.
No, that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. We didn't discuss this before, did we? Yeah.
So there we go. Coming up, Man on the Police Gazette and The Gate of the Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully they both sound like they might have some nice nuggets in.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So he's the brother. So it turns out that James Nam's a fisherman.
Yeah.
And also, actually, this is apropos of nothing in the end. It turns out that the bad guys have offered him work as well, and he's turned them down. Like he said, why? Because he's a great fighter or something. Why don't you be the bodyguard now at a casino or a brothel? And he's turned them down. And you think that's going to come back and bite him, right? But that doesn't really seem to be an issue.
That's not really his downfall, is it?
No,
he's just. No. But what's interesting is his downfall is all because he's poor.
Yes.
The whole reason everything goes to shit and all these people die is because he's poor and the gangsters are cruel.
Yeah, he's a crap fisherman.
Yeah, come on, you must be able to sell fucking fish. People always want fish.
So anyway, and yes, so his little girl gets diphtheria. And
very specific illness.
And this is while he's off, so he's buggered off to find work elsewhere. So he's left his brother, Leon, in charge. To be honest, his brother looks like a junkie or something from the beginning. He looks a bit sickly, doesn't he, the brother?
Well, no, but he's meant to be sickly because he's ill as well, isn't he?
Oh, that's right.
He coughing, doesn't he? So
So James Nam basically neglects his child to go off and find work.
Leaves him with the sick brother who could fucking drop dead himself at any moment.
And then so the doctor tells the brother, well, you need to get her to a hospital, so you need a certain amount of money, which he doesn't have. Or first he needs to get some medicine, and then anyway, he needs money, and he figures out, oh yeah, there's a casino, isn't there? So I could gamble and go there. And he goes there, and he's successful at first, and then it's you can tell when the film's quite good at building tension as well, because I don't know about you, after he won the money, he's got the medicine, and he's still hanging about. You are there shouting at the screen, "Go home and give the fucking medicine to the little girl."
Yeah.
But no. He insists on I guess the idea that he needs the money to get her into hospital rather than greed or anything, right?
No. And it's like it's really good in that see, because that's a long sequence in that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a new it's like slows down for that, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's without any action either. You know,
no, but it's absorbing. It's well.
It is. Yeah. And he's and he comes off as this real kind of almost stupid, as in like mentally deficient.
Yeah, there's something not quite reaching the top there, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he's kind of, and he has to copy people, and he's observing, and he's getting all nervous, and then eventually, it's like he's working out the game for the first time.
Right.
And then it all goes to shit.
Yeah, because he sees some other bloke. I didn't quite get it at first, because a bloke comes in and says, and he stabs himself in the leg. And I didn't really, he's gambling with his life, I suppose. And
it's like, I'll bet you my leg if I win these dice.
But then the casino manager's like, oh, we don't want trouble, give him his $2 back. But the thing is, it's like, but he's the next guy to try it. And now, and plus all the, like the casino manager by himself, he's very kind of meek and but then his timing is wrong. It happens when he's got all the hard-ass bodyguards in his office, right?
Yeah.
When the guy comes in to say, oh, there's a bloke outside causing trouble, they're like, right, fuck this, we're going to sort him out. Well,
they also mistake him for a rival gang member as well.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
But it sounds as if we're saying it sounds a bit convoluted, but it's actually very, very clearly laid out.
No, it's good. Yeah, it's not hard to follow at all. And it's doing a good job of ramping it up as well.
Exactly. It's a good that's the thing it has in common with Seppuku. Again, it's not in Seppuku's league by any means.
No.
It does really kind of you want vengeance to be done, because this is
which
a lot of it.
Which in itself, for the genre as well. So for the genre, it's normally, someone dies, someone gets vengeance, right? You see them die early on, and then the bad people die after. But in this, you already know that James Nam, the first thing you see is James Nam fucking murder someone.
Yeah.
And you kind of know why, because you get a flashback to, his wife being ill and his daughter being ill, and I got it now.
Right.
But it's taking its time just to lay it out there and just try and strip a few layers off your heart.
Yeah, because it turns out, again, spoilers, it's not just the brother is kind of brutally dispatched to it, but of course he doesn't get home, so the little girl dies as well, right? So it's got that really, and again, this is something that works well in a basher, I think, is that nihilistic propulsion, right? It's just, this is all gonna end, even if it doesn't matter if the vengeance, it's still gonna end badly and horribly, right? And there's something satisfyingly grim about that in basher context, I think, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and it's that thing, isn't it? It's like, James Nam is no longer, not that this is in any way made clear in the film, but James Nam is almost like he's left his humanity, with his daughter, and he's just a fucking instrument of cruel, merciless vengeance.
Well, he says at the end as well, doesn't he? He says like, oh, I've got nothing to live for now, so this is and there's some quite nasty, so we should say as well, so Kim Ki-joo turns out to be the big bad, and the last, like, I think it's the last 20 minutes of this film.
Must be 20 minutes,
It's just fucking, here we go. And there's like it's not like it's consistently good, but it's not consistently. But you have these little flashes. So early on, we said the guy gets the pointy sticks in the eyes. Another guy gets like a wooden button shoved down his throat.
Yeah,
that was quite nasty.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
but it's just brilliant. Last 20. The only thing I would say. This is something I liked, but at the same time, I felt slightly a bit of a missed opportunity. So there's quite a cool weapon in this film, which I haven't seen much of anything else.
No.
These kind of clamp stroke claws.
It's like a man. It's like a man trap, a bear trap on a chain, basically. Isn't it? It's like one of those like snapping traps.
Yeah. And they keep chucking them at him to grab on his arms and stuff.
Yeah.
Pulls people down off the walls and stuff, which is quite cool. But I did feel they were slightly. I was waiting for the last really cool use of this weapon, like ripping off an arm or something. But it's never quite. The potential isn't fulfilled. Do you think?
No. Well, I think some of it, which is a shame, but some of it is the execution. Because some of that execution's a bit ropey, and it's quite repetitive.
Yeah, it's him pulling people off the top of the wall.
So you've got the final scene is they're at this kind of mansion, and there's probably 30 hoodlums there. There's 30 goons there.
Yeah,
and about a third of them are on the first floor, hanging out of windows with these man traps on chains.
Yeah,
and
gonna grab him.
Yeah, but the film seems to want to show every single one of those 8 or 10.
Yeah, it flounders a bit.
Just get him. Yeah.
I mean, I would say I regardless, I thoroughly enjoyed this film, and I found the ending satisfying, and that whole 20 minutes is good. But yes, it seemed like it just missed out on greatness, did it? Like if there was just a few little, I don't know, they did something with that weapon, took someone's head off, or even he swung it around, smack. There's something missing. I feel as if it had just a few, 2 or 3 good deaths involving, then this would have risen to classic basher status.
Yeah, well, and exactly right, and that's obviously a gimmick, right? Whether they made that up for the film or not, maybe they did. I don't know. But that's obviously, when they had the blank piece of paper, right, in this film, that was one of the first things they wrote down.
Yes.
Like, we've got to have one of these things in it, right?
They found it at the Home Depot or something. Really cool.
Yeah, bargain bin, special offer, man traps. But also it's like, it's at the ending, although it's a massive long fight at the end, it suffers from that sort of very common flaw in a lot of these films where, it's just this bruising, grueling, exhausting fight between all the protagonists. And then all of a sudden, bang, dead.
Yeah, see, I don't mind that. I have a soft spot for that. I don't mind. I quite like the very end of this is just doof. There you go, finished.
Yeah, well, it's saved because James Nairn's upside down.
Yeah, this is true.
Which is cool. So that I like that. I like that element of it. But I would have liked a little bit more skirmishing around that. You
would have liked just a few more seconds of Richard Harrison walking off screen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh no. Sorry. When I said it just ends, I don't mean the credits come up as soon as the baddie's dead. I mean, it's like he kills the baddie too soon without without a final skirmish, without a final.
Because there's been so much leading up to it. Yeah. I felt I got my money's worth. Let's put it.
No, I did, but also the fight was kind of samey. I know he puts his sticks together and he fights with a different weapon and all that, but I felt that the fight was a 20-minute fight, but it was of the same intensity, not rising intensity.
Yeah, I guess. But again, I think that's what, for me at least, that's one of the joys of the basher in a way, is that kind of just it's kind of like how a song goes from being repetitive to hypnotic if it's done right.
Yeah. No, to be fair, I am nitpicking because it's a very, very enjoyable film.
It is, yeah.
And it's an instant recommend from me.
Oh
if you
yeah,
haven't seen it.
definitely. Especially
Hands
if
down.
you like basher vibes and you haven't seen this one yet.
Oh yeah, this is you'll be in heaven. You'll be in heaven
Yeah.
if you're into bashers and you haven't seen this.
Yeah.
However, if you're not into bashers, this is probably a really fucking good introduction.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, that's a good point. I wonder as well, like, is it because obviously there are, you know, micro fandoms within. I'm wondering if you hang out at the all basher, all 24-hour forum or whatever, is because I must confess I had heard of it.
Haven't you been to BasherCon?
Does this have is this considered? Because I never heard of it, but is it like in basher fandom? Is it like 10 or it is it? Okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't. If these forums exist and if these fandoms exist, I'm not really connected to them. I just like what I like,
Right.
But I had definitely, before I'd seen Gambling for Head, I definitely heard of it.
Oh, okay.
I had heard of it as a really good film. I couldn't have told you what was good about it before I saw it, but its reputation definitely precedes it.
Okay, obviously it's just one that slipped by me then, because I hadn't heard of it. Xing Fuyon is in this film as well somewhere. Young Xing Fuyon is
oh, is he? I missed that.
He's an extra in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Tony Leung Siu Hung, by the way.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No, so this is no, definitely this was a bit of a find for me. So I do have to thank Chris Evans for that. Because it was this, I mean, Concrete Jungle wasn't a pain or anything, but it was just for reasons that we mentioned, a bit difficult to get on with. But this one, I mean, again, it would really, if someone is really making that basher box, this a remastered one, a version of this should be in there for sure.
Oh, 100%. By the way, there is already a mini box set called the Basher Box.
Is there?
There is. But I don't remember the films being particularly memorable on it.
Okay. But is it like a cheapo kind of thing, or is it like a proper
no, I think it's a proper release, but I wouldn't bank on it on it being a commentaries and interviews box set, more some nice quality bashers.
Oh, okay, I'll have to look that. Do you know who put that out? Do you remember?
Oh, to be honest with you, it's the only reason I remembered it was you said the words basher box.
Okay. Is this
I don't recall.
A recent development? Or?
Yeah, I think last 5 years probably.
Okay. Oh yeah,
that's one to check out. Yeah.
The Basher Box. The Basher Box set from actually I don't know if it's from them, but it's let's see what's on it. There's only 2 films, is it? The Awaken, Punch, and Prodigal Boxer.
Yeah, that sounds no, I thought there were more than that. I wanted to say Fist of the Double K was on there as well, but I don't know. I could be confusing it with something else. But yeah, the not particularly memorable bashes in my opinion, anyway.
Well, it's just I don't know. I think only 2 films is a I don't know if that counts as a box.
I wanted to say there were 4 films on there, but it's a long time since I thought about it, and it's only because you brought it up that I mentioned it.
Right. But you never know. They might be other films on as extras or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Do comment if you've seen, own, or know more about the Basher Box than we do.
Yeah, I don't think I'm familiar with the Awaken Punch.
Yeah, they put it out on what was that American one? Late Night Connection or something. There was the Wu-Tang DVDs, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And then there was the other one, the other label that was similar to the stuff that Wu-Tang put out.
Oh, not Brooklyn Zoo.
That's the one. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that came out on a double with, I want to say, Red Fox.
Oh, okay. Have you seen it in the Wake
on
Punch? Is it a good basher?
Yeah,
Or...
it's all right.
Ah,
I don't remember it. It's not. I don't remember it being spectacular. But having said that, um, I remember watching this back in the day, and
this being
my
gambling
reaction,
for head.
gambling for head,
Yeah.
my reaction to it, having watched it this time, is far exceeding those, those that impression, those memories, simply
Aye.
because, you know, I
Yeah, you're
think I
ready
think I
for it.
was
You're
just
primed for it now, right?
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So maybe there's something in Awaken Punch, but I don't remember being
Right.
particularly blown away by it.
Well, I shall give it a look at, and I'll let you know if it. But yeah, but to your point, Darren, yes. I suppose then you might. It could potentially be a gateway drug, but going by your own experience, also maybe not. So you might want to. You might, if you're totally new to bashers, you might not want to make it your number one watch, but after you've got the taste. Actually, that would be an interesting question. A bit of a ambush, but off the top of your head, what would be a good, definite, solid gateway basher then?
Ooh, good question.
I don't know if I have the answer myself.
What was that one with Cliff Lock and Sekin we watched? I've forgotten the name of. Where he goes to prison and he's a wanker. What was that
Oh,
film?
you're talking about that wanker who went to prison.
We reviewed it for the show. It's a click. Oh, fucking hell. What's it called?
Hang on, I'm looking up Cliff Lock now. What did we?
Cliff Lock gets a bit rapey on his girlfriend, gets
Yeah.
sent to prison. Sekin with really short hair is this badass baddie who doesn't want to fight him. Loads of skirmishes. And that comes in a similar sort of era as this, if I remember rightly. About 74, 75.
Tiger's Claw.
Yes.
Ah, okay. Yes, that might be a good. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Um, uh, Tattoo Connection.
Yeah.
10 Fingers of Steel. Wang Yu, Lung
Yeah.
Fei.
Again, it's one. It's the Venn diagram Wang Yuan Basha, but yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, there we
That'd
go.
be, yeah, that'd be where I'd be coming from. But there's a world of them.
This is true. And then,
What about you? What about you?
well,
What's your
I can't
go-to?
remember anything. My memory is like a sieve, and they seem pretty good to me. And again, I don't know. The thing with the bashers as well is I like bashers en masse, and I like the concept of the basher, and I always enjoy seeing a new basher. But
Mm,
I'm not sure if I have like a basher that was head and shoulders above others that was like,
no, I know what you mean.
do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
because frankly, most of them are Chensing Karata, fucking someone on a docks with one of those hooks, you know,
Yeah.
going like that.
So that,
You know.
yeah, in aggregate, I really, but it's a strange example, but I was just thinking about this recently about this series of films for another thing I was doing. But those, the Charlie Chan films, for example, from the 30s and the 40s, with Sidney Toler and Werner Holland, and
Mm,
like
yeah.
they're consistently very entertaining.
Mm,
There's very few duds,
yeah.
but at the same time, I don't think one of them is a classic.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah.
overall, I know I'm going to have a good time watching those. So it's a bit like that.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. It's a much harder selection to make from the basher subgenre than it is, say, from Shapes or
Right.
Shaolin
Yes.
Kung Fu
Yeah.
or Taiwan YCHYFU or
Yeah. Like
any of that
classics
stuff.
automatically jump out at
You
you
can
when you think about.
instantly, yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah,
Basha's
yeah,
a bit more murky, but you just remember, yeah, a general
yeah, yeah.
fondness.
Yeah, exactly. And I suppose bashers, as because we were trying to define it earlier on, and I actually think we did a reasonable job. but it is a little bit more kind of nebulous
Yes.
of a definition, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, it's like pornography. You know it when you see it.
Yes, you know it when it pops.
And there's 2-on-1 action, 3-on action to
Yeah,
paraphrase that old Alexis Hale gag from
exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yes, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay then.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
we are done here. Diolch yn fawr, Chris Evans.
Thank you very much, Chris. Yeah, top fun had with the bashers tonight.
And we'll be back. Well, either we'll have a guest or most unlikely, not most, kind of unexpectedly, we'll be doing a Yi-Lung double bill, to which everyone will go, who the fuck is Yi-Lung? Well, we'll know. Well, we probably won't find out that much more about him, but
that's why you come to the YCHYFUS.
yes, no one else is doing a man. What the fuck? Man on the Police Gazette and the Gate of the Hell double bill.
Yeah, no one's doing a double complete blind watch for someone we've never heard of before tonight, or even know if they have any sort of reputation or any filmmaking talent whatsoever.
Fools!